If you have Navient private student loans, this video is going to tell you everything you need to know about the upcoming transfer to Mohela. This video is going to be for both my clients and for anyone out there that has Navient private student loans. So many of you at this point have gotten this email that says your loans will be transferred to Mohela in the fall. And my clients have been asking me, is this going to affect our settlement process? What does this mean? But luckily, we've been preparing for this for quite some time. This was announced a little while ago that this transfer would happen. So what this basically is just an outsourcing of the servicing itself of the loans. So taking payments, making customer service phone calls, pre-default collection efforts, pre-default attempts to get people back onto payments. It is not going to affect the defaulted loans, the recovery process, or from what we're hearing, the settlement process. And I have talked to several high-level Navient operatives that I'm in contact with for negotiations and just different parts of the settlement process. And they were at first a little bit concerned about losing their jobs because if their positions being outsourced, then they thought they might not even be in the recovery department at Navient. But that does not seem to be the case. And we also want to look at parallels in the industry to what has happened before. So whenever there's a new development in the private student loan industry, I've been doing private student loan settlements for over 10 years now. We look at, what similar situations have happened in the past. How can we get information from that to predict what's going to happen in the future? So we look at what SoFi is already doing. What kind of servicing are they, or not SoFi, Mohela. What servicing is Mohela already doing for private loan lenders? They do service loans for SoFi, which does private loans and refinance loans, which are private. Whether they're refinanced from federal or not, they become private once they're refinanced. Mohela services those loans they have for some time, and they just handle the loans when they're current or when they're behind for a little bit, but not when they're in default. Once they go into default, SoFi has their own process. They retain ownership of the loans, and we deal with their own collection process. So we look at that parallel, and that's also a good indicator that that's likely what's going to happen with Navient. Now, there's always the chance that Navient could sell their portfolio or get out of the industry, but that's not what we're hearing. It looks like they're really just trying to streamline their operations, cut out the bulk of their customer service. They're actually sending their own reps down to Mohela. They are transferring their own employees to work at Mohela. So it's, in a way, just kind of a change in name only of the servicing, but we expect that the same processes to still take place. We still expect the Navient private loans to take 8 months to default. That's one thing we're going to keep an eye on because that's the case now. And this transfer is supposed to happen sometime in the fall of 2024. So you're starting to get correspondence about that now, but your accounts may not be with Mohela until the fall of 2024. From what I'm hearing from my inside contacts at Navient, they've already sent teams of people down, kind of like a strike force or like a preliminary group of people down to start preparing Mohela to service their accounts. Obviously, Mohela has a very bad reputation as a servicer. They were just basically stripped of their potential to service public service student loan forgiveness borrowers on the federal side, and there's been a lot of news about them. So I don't expect them to be a competent servicer. I don't expect them to cause any major issues in our process for settling Navient private student loans for our clients. They're really just going to be more of a middleman until these accounts default. And after that, we expect them to go back to Navient recovery, collection agencies, and similar agencies that we're going to be negotiating with, just like we are now. So we're going to keep a close eye on this. We are going to have many clients that are going to be going through this process. But we've seen a lot of changes in the private student loan industry. I mean, going back to when I settled my first loan, my first private student loan in 2013, I'd been doing credit card settlement for 5 years prior to that. But I started working with private loans before Sallie Mae even split into Navient. And there's been many, many changes in the industry since then. So we expect to navigate this the same as all the other challenges, and we still expect to get these settlements at the end of the day.